Good evening and welcome to eVidya channel. I am Mukta Kandyal and you all are watching our special live interactive session, that is Sahyog, where we come up with different sessions to provide psychological support and enhance mental well-being to all our viewers. And the topic we have today on the table for discussion is school problems among teenagers. And this program is run on eVidya channel number 6 to 12, also on our YouTube channel, that is ncertofficial. So if you have any question, any queries related to topic, you can call us on our number, that is 8800440559. You can also reach us via email. Our email address is flashing on your TV screens right now. You can also connect with us through our YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official. You can drop your question, any queries related to the topic through live chat box. So the expert we are having for today's discussion are, the very first expert is Dr. M.S. Karyappa. Sir is from RIE Bhopal NCRT. Namaskar sir, and a very warm welcome in the session.
Thank you madam. Namaskar.
And our second expert is Mr. Hemant Banjare. Sir is practicing counselor. Namaskar sir, and a very warm welcome in the session.
Namaskar madam. Thank you very much ma'am.
So let's commence today's session, and I'll ask Karyappa sir to start the session. And my very first question for you, sir, that as the topic we are having today is school problem among teenagers. So what exactly are school problems?
Yes ma'am. So before we would like to start the school problems, let us know about what is adolescence or what is considered as a teenage. So I think a lot of us know, everyone are aware about this, the teenage. So a age between the childhood and adulthood, so which is called as the most important, or also many times you can say that there is a changes of growth, a rapid changes of growth, a crucial time, a critical period, or even you can say that a stress and strong period of this. So when you talk about this teenage, a developmental task, there are the many developmental tasks which needs to be accomplished before going to the further stages. So here we can see that many, like a hormonal changes, pubertal changes among the adolescent period, and accepting the responsibilities and working towards the independence is the most importantly we can see. Next, another one is building new and meaningful relations with others of the same and also opposite gender, and also seeking emotional and economical stability and developing one's own value system. So these are all the main developmental tasks happens in this teenage only. If you see this in this area, if you concern about these areas, we can see that there are some of the problems which consider the school problems. The first school problems comes to the fear of going to school. So normally we can see this, a fear of, so what kind of fear is it? So, and many of the researchers have shown that 1 to 5% of students have seen this generalized, and there is a particularity about the person. So there is a general, means each person has its own way of fear. Maybe example, if you talk about the a kind of an event at the school. So some of the events, for example, a physical education activity. If some kind of physical education activities are there, some students do not want to participate in that. That's why they will delay to go to school. Or they have a fear to see that kind of an activity. So if you see that, another one is most importantly a bullying, or getting a with the help or with a teacher or student or any different kind of activities. Bullying is the most importantly make fear to attend the teenagers to school. And nowadays, I think at present days, you can see that a cyber bullying also. So more of humiliation, getting some kind of messages or some kind of participating in a online activities is also going to become a reason for that fear of going to the school. So, and another one, there is a most important is that is physical symptoms. So in this area, even either a girl, especially if you talk about the girl students, so abdominal pain. So this kind of an activities are going to be a more reasons for a fear of going to schools. At last, sometimes some students we used to say that are some kind of teenagers simply they will refuse to go to school. They don't want any particular reasons. They will say that no, simply I am not going to school. So such kind of fear of going to school we can occur and or can see among the teenagers. So then next another one is can come to the truancy and dropping out. So the truancy in the sense, I think without having any permission from the authority or absenteeism without permission, and this is a kind of the main reason is a poor academic achievement, or otherwise maybe they can see that they had some little success with some kind of an activities or academical activities or whatever it is. Next, another one is little satisfaction which is resulting in the school activities. So whatever the activities are happening around them, they are not satisfied with that. So that's why they need not to go to school, or they not this kind of problems, influence problems we can find among the teenagers. Another one most important is dropping out. So most of the teenagers, when they are participating some kind of high risk behaviors. So what kind of high risk behaviors? Maybe the people are going to be in academic failure. So the people have they failed in some classes. So next year they not want to continue their education. So next, another one is on a high risk is substance abuse. The substantial abuse, you can see that most of the people start addicting to the drug abuse. So this, when you have started addicting to that, the next they not want to continue for the school. But we can see that. And another one most important is such as unprotected sex and taking drugs or engaging in a violence. So most of these kind of teenagers, when they are felt into this kind of activities they engage, so they will try to drop out from this area. And another one is academic underachievement. So when you talk about this academic underachievement, we can say that nothing but it is it's a performance less than expectation. Particularly we can see that. So this change may be a grade wise or maybe the performance of the learner, we can see that. So here the most important thing we should, as a parents or as a teachers, we need to observe, because this is a worthy consideration. Because when a teenager was underachieved, or when they're expected to not reaching to the earlier grades, we need to aware about it, we need to caution it and should look at that. Why? Because this is a most important stage and teenager to move for the next stage. So these are all the major problems we can see among the teenagers in the school.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for answering the question. I would like to come to Hemant, sir, now. Sir, my question for you is, sir, if the school problems are diagnosed, and if diagnosed, how they can be managed, sir?
Dr. Karyappa has very well explained the different types of major problems in school-going teenagers. All the parents and the teachers must understand the fact that behind every action or effect there is a cause. So we have to understand and analyze the cause-effect relationship. Most of the problems that sir has explained are visible to other people. They are not subjective in nature, rather they are objective. For example, fear of going to school, dropping out cases, truancy. So the parents have to read their children what is the reason the child has fear to go to school. Obviously, the class teachers or the subject teachers, school authorities, they will make call to the parents that your child is not attending the classes. So teachers will inform the parents. Once the parents are informed by the school administration or authority, they should talk to the child. Why the child has fear in going to school? Similarly, truancy, the child has gone to school, but he is absent from some of the classes or most of the classes without permission of the school authority or class teacher. So it seems that somewhere the child is not interested in the classes, in the subjects which are being taught at the school. The teachers as well as the parents, they should talk to the child, because these symptoms are visible. So we do not need to ask the child about the symptoms. First of all, we should ask why the child is in fear. We may find that if the child is not going to school, there may be some family issues. Apart from family issues, maybe the child is not feeling well. So illness may be one reason. If there are other members in the family, the child may be looking after the younger ones or the older members of the family. Children live in groups in classes, in school. So there may be some cases of bullying, fighting, violence. And as Dr. Karyappa told, a drug abuse, substance abuse reason may be there. Once the reasons are found out, effective counseling sessions, seminar sessions should be conducted in the school, so that the children should be aware why they should keep themselves away from these things. Negative peer pressure. If the child is not interested in the subjects which are taught at school, we have to make the child understand that the education, learning is very important for his family, for himself. So teaching method by the teachers should be changed. It should be interactive. It should be child-centered, so that child should be interested in the school and he should go. If he is unable to complete the assignments, homework, classwork, the teacher should arrange some remedial classes. Parents can arrange private tuitions, home tutors, coaching centers, because if it is found that this is very much necessary, then only coaching classes should be arranged for the children. This way we can manage and we can deal with these problems. Mukta ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And you told about what are the school problem. Karyappa sir told about what are the school problem. You told about how can we diagnose, and if diagnose, and how can we manage the school problems, sir. But I think, Karyappa sir, there are some mental health issues also among teenagers. If there are, sir, what are those?
Yes, madam. In generally, if you see the school problems, or it's a kind of a truancy, dropout, or whatever problems we see that are completely interlinked with the psychological issues. So which are the psychological issues or mental health issues if we talk about, there are, I have listed here. The first one comes to the depression. So a depression, if we talk, it's a kind of a mood disorder that causes the persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest to do any kind of daily activities or daily functionings. So most of the teenagers, we can see that they are depressive in their mood. So maybe there are the a number of reasons for this. So I think this depression level are reported in a survey of drug use and health published in 2015. Girls are more likely to express depression than the boys. And this depression are between the 12 to 17 has higher amount. We can see that this depression usually quite terrible because it is affecting the academical performance and daily activities of the kids. And that's why a depression is the most important psychological disorder here we can see in among the psychological. And another one when you come to that, anxiety. Anxiety, a feeling of worry, nervousness, or uneasy about something, or like an uncertain outcome of the activities which the kid or teenager used to be faced with. So normally the 8% of teenagers between the 13 to 18 have anxiety disorder. So which according to the National Institute of Mental Health was proposed. Next, anxiety can severely impact the teenagers' educational, and even they have a ability to socialize with the friends. And another one important is even this kind of anxiety disorder may have a cause for to out of the house. In the sense, I think most of the time in the teenagers we can see that the most of the parents will come and complain to the either teachers or maybe to the some other extent. We can see that without informing, without any kind of a concern, the students used to go away from the house or maybe from the school too. We can see that such conditions. That's why the anxiety is the most importantly need to be caution or alarming in the teenage area. Next, another one is ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive. Please backside, sir, black. Back to the slide, sir, please. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. This is ADHD. HD is another one important. I think approximately 9% of children between this 2 to 17 age. Actually, this attention deficit hyperactivity disorder we can appear at the age of 4, but by the time we are unable to get to such a problematic age. But when you increases the age, that is when they reaches to the high school or when they reaches to the teenage, we can see the problems of this attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So what kind of problems we may observe here? Children may not experience the problems of during their younger age, but when you see their high schools, when they see the difficult projects, when they get some difficult assignments from the teachers, when they get some kind of difficult activities in the classrooms, then we can see that they have a ADHD among the teenagers. So actually it is earlier only appeared, but need to be cautioned or need to be taken care by the parents and teachers can be rectified. So another one important is that, please next slide, sir. Oppositional deficient depositor. So here the words itself give the meaning of it. So around more than 16% of adolescents have this oppositional deficient disorder. because whatever they say or whatever you are going to ask them, they will just reduce or they can give the rude manner of answers. So unactively or otherwise overthinking, we can see that there is a kind of uncooperative activities are hostile towards the peers, parents, and even their any authority. You know, for example, they won't respect a teachers or a principal, even parents and whoever it may be. Such kind of activities we can find that an oppositional deficient disorder. For example, this as ODD is the most important. Why? Because if you are observed in the early stage, we need to be taken care at the earliest stage. Otherwise, it is going to become a most conduct disorder in the future condition. That's why a further here is the most important. At the last one, if it is psychological or mental health disorder, is come to that eating disorder. Normally, we can see that hey, eating disorder. What is this kind of things? But this most of the teenagers we can find this eating disorder. So according to some of the reports, between the 13 to 18 age of the students, 2.7% of the students having this kind of problem, eating disorder. So when you talk about this eating disorders, we can see that some of the teenagers, they will, with tensionly, they will take sometimes overeat. They're eating overeating, or sometimes they don't take at all food. So such kind of activities also has an impact of their education and daily, means their daily functioning and their future developmental activities. So these are all the major mental health or psychological interlinks to these school problems.
Thank you, Karyappa sir. Thank you for throwing lights on several mental health issues that can be seen among teenagers. I would like again come to Hemant sir. Sir, as Karyappa sir told up various mental health issues, I would like to ask you how these mental health issues among teenagers can be managed, but before diagnosed.
If we talk from the viewpoint of counselors or technical experts of psychology, we can differentiate between anxiety, depression, stress, and worry. But we know that the common people, less educated people, they may not be able in differentiating between anxiety and depression. So let us discuss the common symptoms which are found in all these disorders: anxiety, worry, stress, or depression. You will see that if any teenager is suffering from these problems, maybe depression, anxiety, we can see that now he is no more interested in the daily routine, the activities which the child was or which the teenager was doing with utmost happiness or energy. So we see that he would seek for loneliness, solitude. He would avoid the company of his friends, company of family members, and most of the time he would be in fear, he would be in worry. So whenever we observe that the child is not enjoying or not doing his normal routine as per the schedule or as per the interest he was doing, we must understand that there is something wrong, there is something unusual in his behavior, something is going on in his mind. After reading these external symptoms, we have to talk to the children. So see, the child is not enjoying the school routine or the family routine or the activities with his friends. So obviously there are some reasons behind anxiety and depression. These are the symptoms for these two. The other two disorders, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and oppositional defiant disorder, these terms may not be understood by the common people, or even the children may not be able to understand if we use these technical terms to them. So in simple language, I would like to explain that when the child is in the class, the teacher is assigning some work is assigned to the students, and instead of attending to that work assigned by the teacher, the student is busy in doing something else. So he is lacking in the attention for the important work. There is shortage of attention. Rather, he is hyperactive in some other work. This is ADHD. If parents are instructing or giving some work to the child, instead of obeying the parents, the child is busy in doing something different with due interest, with due zeal and enthusiasm. These are the symptoms for ADHD. As far ODD is concerned, mostly it has been seen that this is found in elementary stage. The basic reason is because the children at the elementary level, they have not been habituated to follow the school routine, the activities of the school. So they would be interested in doing things of their own interest, and they may not find themselves able to cope up with the school routine or the class routine as instructed to them. And if the teacher is giving them instructions, they would defy, they would refuse to obey it. And meanwhile, time to time, the child may be presenting his own argument. If something wrong is done by him, he will not accept it. He will put the blames on others. These are the symptoms we can read. Something is wrong with the child. Eating disorder is maybe common because parents can see it. School has very less to do in this regard because the teachers and the school authorities, they talk from theoretical point of view. What is the importance of nutrition? What types of food the child should eat? So only theoretical aspect is explained by the teachers at school. So parents have crucial role to play in this regard, to observe whether the child or whether the teenager is suffering from eating disorder. So let us see two terms in simple language: eating very less and eating very more. Eating less and eating too much. In this way we can understand anorexia and glucosa. So in anorexia, the child may not be interested to eat too much. The reasons may be either parents are not interested in eating too much. They want to maintain their physical fitness. They want to be very slim, very thin. Or the teenagers may be influenced by the celebrities, especially sports stars, actors and actresses. They see their friends, their family members, neighborhood people discussing what is the expectation of the society for their dream career. So most often it has been seen that the cultural demands force the children to adopt, to eat less or to eat too much. If the child is eating too less, the parents should provide them nutritious food. They should tell what is important for their body. And if it is very critical stage, they should take the child to a dietitian, nutritionist. If the child is eating too much, again we have to tell how it may hamper, how it will have very ill effects on his body, on his fitness. Because most often he would be vomiting if he has the habit of binge eating, means eating too many things in large quantity. In order to manage the depression and anxiety in students, the parents should go to the teachers. If the teachers have observed the behavior of the adolescents, that something is wrong, they can solve it by CBT. CBT is one way. In simple language, we can say talk therapy. Because counselors will ask the adolescents what is going on in their mind, how certain things are affecting their thought process. So the adolescents will disclose everything to the counselors. If it is manageable at the talk therapy level, it is very good. But if it is at the critical level, the teachers, the counselors can advise the parents to take the adolescents to experts, clinical psychologists or professional counselors, and they will suggest some medication if needed. In rare cases, we see that the medication is suggested. Otherwise, through talk therapy, through discussions, these things can be managed. If the child is not interested with friends, so new activities should be introduced for the children. The child may be interested in visiting some places. Parents do not allow them. So especially after the post-COVID scenario, we have seen that though new normal has been adopted by the people, but children find it very difficult to adjust with school friends, to adjust with new school or old school because something wrong was there for the last 2 years. So this way we have to manage by providing them some new activities, new experiences at school and at family. This way, these disorders can be managed and dealt with. Madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering the question and also covering the role of parents and teacher, how they can be in a vital role, to develop or enhance a child development. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope our viewers also learned a very informative lesson. It was today's session. I hope they learned a beautiful lesson out of this today's session, and how such mental health issues are there and how they can be coped up with the help of a teacher or a parent. Thank you so much for both of experts for joining us with us today and delivering such informative session to all our learners. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Hemant sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you,
for all.
Thank you.
Thank Thank you, madam.
And thank you to all our learners as well who got connected with us and watched this session throughout for half an hour. So stay connected to PM Vidya channel and NCRT official. We are wrapping up this session right now. Namaskar.